Well, morning, folks. Pastor Pete speaking to you on a Wednesday morning. Feels like Monday to me. I have Mondays off, and then so this long weekend, Pam and I were able to have a long weekend with the stat holiday, so I had Tuesday off. And so sort of beginning my week here on a Wednesday morning seems a bit odd. Sundays are coming no matter where the stat holidays fall, but I tell you, I'm so glad that we're getting closer to Sunday because that's our welcome back Sunday here at Downsview. And would you please come and join us? Come at 11 o'clock, just the one service outside here in our courtyard. Grab your lawn chair, grab your sunscreen and your baseball hat if you need, whatever it's going to be like outside, and just come and open our voices together to the Lord in song. Andrea and Larnie Sargento, we're real appreciative of them going to lead us in our time of singing outside. We will celebrate the Lord's Supper. We will have communion together. We're able to do all those things very safely. We have the little prepackaged communion cups as we used last month. But to have a sense of coming back together again and to celebrate what God has continued to do despite this coronavirus, I'm expecting to be emotional. I know it's going to be a good time. And so that's this coming Sunday, the 13th of September. Today in the Bible reading, I was reading through a couple of different portions, and it was interesting that the 53rd Psalm, Psalm 53, this is one of those Psalms that, it hits us about other people. And it should. It says, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. And they are corrupt, doing abominable iniquity. There is none who does good. God looks down from heaven on the children of man to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. They've all fallen away. Together they become corrupt. There is none who has done good. No, not even one. Which echoes the long string of no one, no one, no one in the 3rd chapter of the book of Romans, doesn't it? That no one does good, no one seeks after God. Any idea that there are people seeking God out there is just anti-Bible. People are not seeking God unless God first seeks them. You and I have only ever sought the Lord because the Lord first sought us. Jesus said to his disciples, you didn't choose me, I chose you. We know in 1 John where he tells us that we love him because he first loved us. God is always the initiator. God is always the one coming first. And when he comes to receive and to bring his sheep into his sheepfold, he just makes certain that it happens. But it's interesting because, where Psalm 53 is saying, foolish people say there's no God. And a fool is not the same as someone who's ignorant, someone who's stupid. Someone who's foolish is not using the brains that God has given them. That's what he's saying. He's not using the wisdom God has given them. It's foolish to act that way. It's not as if you're uneducated or you're simple and stupid and somebody just doesn't have the faculties, whatever adjectives we would use these days. When Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount, don't call your brother Raka, which means empty-headed. Don't even call him a fool. Well, he's comparing two things there. Empty-headed means you don't have the faculties to comprehend what's going on and therefore to act properly. The foolish person, well, he does, and she's not using them. And so to be foolish is to fail to use the faculties that God has given us to live in a way that pleases him. But it struck me as I was meditating on this a bit this morning. The fool says in his heart, there's no God. But let's be certain that we who acknowledge there is a God aren't foolish in another direction. For instance, Paul David Tripp has this wonderful challenge for us, whether or not there are times in our lives where we are practically atheistic, essentially atheistic, meaning we acknowledge God is there, sort of. We say so, but our lives display that we really do go about our lives as if God just isn't an issue. Until Corona comes, till the car accident happens, till the pink slip happens at work, right? Until the children are ill, until something happens. Oh, God, I love you so much, I really want, and we just come back with what seems like almost a foolish perspective or posture, like we were living like God was really important to us. And up to that point, we hadn't disregarded God in the sense that we had shoved him aside. We just ignored him. Now, where the fool says in his heart, there is no God, the foolish Christian shows with his hands he is living like there is no God. Someone says in their heart, but we show with our hands way too often that God just isn't the dominant issue, the secondary concern, the tertiary focus in our daily lives. The way we spend our money, the way we make our recreational plans, the way we seek proper health care, the way we interact with our parenting, with our marriage. It's as if God is somewhere out there only when the crisis hits. And you notice what Psalm 53 says. He says, they are corrupt, doing abominable iniquity, no one who does good. God looks down from heaven on the children of man to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. And he ought to find Downsview Baptist Church as a group of people who understand that we ought to be seeking after God this morning. I know what it's like to make plans and to come up with a vision and try to move forward with ministry ideas in life and never go to the Lord in prayer about it. Not really. You know what I mean, not really. Not asking and waiting and seeking and trying to see how is God showing us the direction we should move together. I know what it's like to sin like that. And it's so foolish to not use the faculties God has given us. Do you know what I mean today? I hope, friends, that as you consider your day and we move forward to welcome back services and your children go back to school, your grandchildren are back into their educators, as many of you go back to your work and your daily routine, and as we celebrate this new season of ministry and of life, as coronavirus seems to be going down, even as every news outlet in the world's got to have a new story to print, so they tell you, watch out for the second wave. Look out, it's going to happen again. However bad it is, the news media's got to somehow invent something that could potentially be worse. Let's not fall into that. But let's not find ourselves ignoring God in the daily pursuit of doing the things that we think we're to be doing, especially here at Downsview Baptist Church. Let's not say in our heart that there is no God, but let's not show with our hands that we're living as if he's not real. Tonight at 7:30, not 7 o'clock, but 7:30, Lord willing, we will be on Facebook Live, and we'll be opening the scriptures again together. So looking forward to seeing you tonight at 7:30 on our Facebook Live production as well. Hope you're enjoying the Lord today, friends. Cheers.